What is going on, beautiful people? We are here, UFC 274. We have a banger pay-per-view tonight. I'm super excited about it. And also, we have a massive list of guests this week. Everybody was coming out trying to give their best bet for UFC 274. So I can't wait to get into it. And I decided, because last week, we talked in length about how we had to switch up the vibes. So I did away with the noons. We're keeping it classy today. Bottomless mimosas for the boys. Got to bring the energy. Got to bring the vibes today. I know I have a few people that I'm sure you guys are going to be excited to hear from. So I'm not going to waste too much time. Like I said, big jam-packed list of guests for this Saturday pay-per-view, and I'm super excited about it. So priority number one, as always, is to get on the board. And who else would we start getting on the board with than the man, the myth, the legend, our leadoff hitter, Andrew Gomez? What is going on? He smacked the under 2.5 in the Andre Fili, Joe Anderson Brito fight. That was like plus 150, not even a sweat. Awesome bet. What's going on, Andrew?
What's up, buddy? It's good to see you. Yeah, that Fili under 2.5 was solid. Not as solid as today's bet, though. Carla Esparza plus 180 to Rose Namajunas. Oh, my God. I mean, anyone who knows me knows that was going to be my pick coming in here. The wrestling advantage for Carla is gross. She's going to pound Rose from top. I cap her the favorite, and I'm all in.
I love it, man. So I am betting Carla as well. I'm still waiting. I haven't bet her yet because basically I was hoping, and it seems like we are starting seeing it. It looks like maybe it started to stop now, but FanDuel has a plus 184. They were at plus 168 yesterday. So I'm hoping maybe a little bit more Rose money. I was really wanted like a greedy plus 200 on Carla, but I don't know if we're going to get that. So I'm probably just going to fire after the show, whatever the number is, but plus 184. I don't know if I quite cap her as the favorite like you, but I mean, it's certainly closer than the current betting odds indicate. So I'm with you, man. I'm hoping Esparza comes out in her singlet and gets the wrestling going and does it for the boys.
Yeah, I took plus 185 on MGM a couple of days ago, but also like it's a late night pay-per-view. Rose is minus 200, fan favorite. Like I could see people playing her like leading up to the fight too. So I don't hate waiting. I also am not opposed to adding. I'm cool with having anywhere between a 5 and 10x bet on this one.
I love it, man. I'm going to put Esparza money line. Best available right now is 5 dimes plus 187. So that's what I'm going to put down for the best bet. Good luck tonight, Andrew. Stay hot, and hopefully we catch a few of these winners tonight.
Thanks, John. Enjoy your mimosas.
Thanks, bro. Later.
Take care.
All right. Starting off hot. And to keep that energy up, we got to go to my guy, Billy Briz. Billy, what's up, bro?
What's up, man? Saturday, the Sixers finally got a game. Now we get a nice little pay-per-view event. No rigged fights like it was last night for PFL and Bellator, but we'll save that for another day. Best bet this weekend, though, we're going to take this one's like, I feel like I'm coming in here always betting on the old guys, but OSP rounds 1 or 2 on FanDuel at plus 105. Mauricio Shogun Hura, man, that dude is shot out of bits. Don't be fooled by the highlight tapes that the UFC is going to be playing on the commercials. But, man, last time we seen Shogun Hura inside the octagon, I do not think it's going to be good enough to beat OSP. OSP moving back up a weight class. It seems like more of his natural weight class. I think OSP is going to come out here and just give us a good vintage performance. It's just the weekend of the old guys. We bet on Anthony Pettis last night, and, man, you talk about Anthony Pettis in the year 2021, and then you bet on him this year, and comes out there, gets a first-round sub. I think it is the weekend of the old guys.
Yeah, so you actually bet against an old guy last week in the Connolly Darren Elkins. I had to rub that in because that was one that I wasn't feeling great about. Connolly didn't come through, unfortunately, but I have a good feeling that OSP might come through for you as well. I didn't bet the round 1 or round 2 prop, but I did because I'm a sick pup. I bet OSP by knockout at plus 250, but it goes along the same lines as what you were saying. And OSP, I don't put a lot of confidence in either. Like he's lost 5 of his last 7 fights going back between heavyweight and light heavyweight. I don't think he's necessarily got a ton left in the tank, but it's just that I think who was more shot, been knocked out 6 times, tapped due to strikes to Paul Craig. Like I really think OSP, the first clean shot he connects with, might be able to put him out. So I'm right there with you, man. You said round 1 or 2 on FanDuel for OSP is plus 105.
Plus 105. Let this hit the scorecards, right? Because people are thinking, why don't you just take the money line in a parlay? Let this hit the scorecards. OSP's getting robbed, bro.
You think so? I mean, I don't put anything past the judges after that Jay Collier one, which we're not going to spend time on this week.
That's the theme of this weekend. Don't bet on people that you don't think they're going to not get the finish, because this shit hits the scorecards. It's not going to go as you think it's going to go.
Words of wisdom. I appreciate you joining, Bill. Good luck tonight, and hopefully we get some of these winners later, man. All right, moving right along to the only undefeated member of the Roundtable. Zaid, what's going on, my man?
What's going on, my man? I think I'm going to need you to send me a belt in the mail, and then I'm just going to hold it up as like undefeated champ, because we're going to keep it going again today. I love the board. Charles Oliveira. Let's just start with this. This wasn't going to be on my radar. Wasn't going to be nothing. That line moved down to minus 130 last night on FanDuel, and I jumped at it. He is going to, I think, one, he's a better fighter, and two, he went from minus 175, I believe, to like minus 130 just because of that weight cut. I don't think that had anything to do with him. Oh, he was like depleted. He couldn't make weight. I really do believe there was a problem in the back, and that is why he just didn't make the weight. He's a pressure fighter. We saw Gaethje struggle with pressure against Khabib. Gaethje, outside of Michael Chandler and maybe one other win, I mean, he beat a Tony Ferguson right before he's washed up, I guess you could say. But Gaethje doesn't have great wins. We saw him lose to Poirier. We saw him lose to solid fighters. Like, if Charles Oliveira just puts a pressure on him outside of just leg kicking, Gaethje's going to struggle with the pressure. He's going to struggle with the striking. And then Oliveira gets a hold of him. He's going to submit him. I like Oliveira inside the distance, and I like him on the money line. Inside the distance, I believe, is plus 110, which is solid. But, I mean, you can get the money line now, I think, at minus 145 if you didn't jump on it last night at minus 130. Another big fight I like, and my best bet is Randy Brown tonight. I think he looked really, really sharp against Jared Gooden. I think that Chaos Williams, while he did have a couple knockouts early in his career, he's not the fighter that everybody thinks he is. Randy Brown should be able to use his length and just piece him up, maybe win a decision, maybe get a late sub. I like Randy Brown in this spot a lot. Give me Randy Brown and Charles Oliveira is my two best bets for tonight.
I like it. Randy Brown, what's the number? I'm seeing best available. What is it? Minus 102 on. Okay, we'll go with that on FanDuel. So Brown money line, Oliveira money line, or potentially Oliveira inside the distance plus 110 is what I got for the man. He is only the only undefeated member of the Roundtable. Hopefully you stay hot. Although I do have a bet on Justin Gaethje, so I'm not necessarily going to be going to be rooting for Oliveira, but I did bet the under there as well for bigger. So I like the under in the Oliveira Gaethje side. So I won't be devastated if Oliveira wins. But I'm definitely on the Gaethje fanboy side of that.
What did you get Gaethje at? Just curious.
Plus 152. I bet him earlier in the week, so it was before all the weigh-in mess when everyone else started betting Gaethje.
Yeah.
So I don't even think that's still available. But yeah. So I'm rooting for Gaethje, but preferably the under for sure.
Good luck for sure.
Thanks, bro. You too. Later. All right, keeping things right along. So quick recap. We have Andrews on Carla Esparza, money line, plus 187. Billy Briz is on OSP round 1 or 2 at plus 105. And Zaid, the only undefeated member, is on Charles Oliveira money line and Randy Brown money line. And we are going to keep things moving. And none other than my guy Pepe out of the Northeast. What is going on, my man?
John Kelly. We got absolutely robbed last week. Disgusting.
Brutal.
Disgusting. There's so much corruption in the MMA judging right now. The Soren Bach thing in Bellator, Sal D'Amato involved in both. It's so egregious.
Of course he is.
Collier won that. We got absolutely robbed, but we'll leave that in the past. And Andrew Gamba is the sharp, of course, taking the Esparza pick nice and early, so the rest of us have to dig deep into our pockets to find the better bets. But I know when I come on, people are gonna expect some disgusting, grimy, incredible bets, and I got another one. I was gonna go Esparza, but I have a backup plan, and it's gross. So I doubt you're gonna be using this in the parlay, but the Value Boy hat is on. And we are going Macy Chiasson plus 198 on FanDuel currently against Norma Dumont. It's just another situation where people don't like taking these spots and buying low on a fighter. It's similar to the Sam Hughes situation that I talked about a couple weeks ago when she was around this price against Estela Nunez. We have Macy Chiasson fighting out of Fortis MMA, same camp that Sam Hughes fought out of. Incredible coach of Saif Sayud, really gets his fighters ready. You see what Damon Jackson, Steven Peterson is doing. Like, these guys are leaving it all out there. And it's similar to the Sam Hughes pick in the sense that I kept Dumont as like around 55%, and they're hanging plus 200 for Macy. I just think there's a ton of value there, and not a lot of people are going to go there because it's one of those bets that you just kind of feel gross about. But Dumont is a low volume striker. Chiasson has a 4-inch height advantage, 5-inch reach advantage. The speed should be similar. Macy can do some clinch work. I'm not going to come on here and say, oh, Macy should be like a minus 200 favorite. But when you make these kind of bets consistently, where you see big value, you're profitable long term. And so I'm staying the course, and I'm hammering Chiasson. I got plus 210, but there's not even a ton of market movement on that, and you can still get plus 198. And I think it's a great bet. I think it's going to be close. Can I look like a complete moron and Chiasson does Chiasson things and she loses? Of course, but I'm willing to take the risk and go at it and attack it heavily.
Yeah, so I actually considered betting that myself. Like early in the week, I'm like, I feel like it's just going to be an ugly, low volume, cage pushy style of fight. Like Norma Dumont is not somebody that typically covers a minus 200 price tag whatsoever. So I get the play. And Chiasson, to your point, is going to be the bigger fighter in there. And she's going to try to fight a similar game plan. So maybe she can use that size to her advantage. The problem is Dumont is like pretty thick. So I don't know if Chiasson's going to be able to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if she's going to be able to hold her up against the cage and maybe potentially look for takedowns.
She's thick, but I don't know why she wouldn't be able to hold her against the cage because of the thickness.
Yeah.
Like, I think she would have a hard time taking her down because of that. She has a solid build. She'll have a hard time taking her down, but she shouldn't have a problem holding her against the cage and using head position with her being taller and knees in the clinch, just making it kind of dirty. Switch stances while when she's eating early leg kicks. Yeah, there's a couple different paths. She can even hurt her on the feet. She throws hard.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
The decision prop for Chiasson is like almost 4-1 on FanDuel. So if any of your sick pup listeners want to take a little sprinkle on the Chiasson by decision, I think that's a solid look.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, especially since so many of us were betting Mazzani like idiots last week, myself included. At Juice, exactly. But no, I mean, the man gave us Sam Hughes a couple weeks ago. Like, can we really argue on Macy Chiasson as a plus 200 underdog in this fight that I think is going to be pretty competitive? So I'm going to be rooting for your girl. I'm probably not going to bet her, full disclosure, but I do have some interest on DraftKings. So I might just get my exposure that way as one of the cheaper underdogs there.
True. There's a potential. It's a low volume split decision win kind of thing where she doesn't score that high.
Yep.
But I totally understand not wanting to bet Macy Chiasson, but I'm all over it.
Love it, bro. And just so you know, the open invite is there if you want to hop back on at the end of the show and cook up the parlay. It's totally up to you. But appreciate you joining, Pepe, and best of luck tonight, bro.
You too, brother.
Later. All right, we have a man making his debut on stream. We got the Couch Warrior. What's going on, my guy?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Trying to keep the energy up, keep the vibes up. We have yet to cash our illustrious roundtable parlay, so I'm hoping you could bring one of the winners for us and hopefully get us on the board. What you got for us tonight, bro?
Let's do it. So I think what I have is pretty solid. I'm a little surprised by the line, to be honest. I got Andre Fiallo by KO minus 135. I feel like that's more than likely how he's going to win this fight. He's probably going to finish Van Camp. And at minus 135, like, I really like that. Is he going to be a submission threat here? No. Can he win a decision? Yeah, sure he can, but I just don't think it's going to make it there. Van Camp's only KO'd one time back in 2015. So there's that. But his striking defense sucks, in my opinion. His striking itself isn't great. So I feel like a KO here is live for Fiallo. And at minus 135, I like it a lot.
Yeah, while you were talking, I had to look up the odds. I'm like, is that still available? Because I like that myself. Like, I mean, that was my prediction for the way the fight goes. I just don't see Van Camp, similar to you. I just don't see him as really being UFC level, but his striking defense is what really worries me, especially against a power puncher like Fiallo, who's got 12 of his 15 wins coming by knockout. Just knocked out Miguel Baeza 3 weeks ago. Like, I feel like that's a pretty likely outcome. It's tough to pay juice on props, but like, I feel like this one is, I mean, I'd be surprised personally if he doesn't come with the knockout. So I don't hate that play. You got Fiallo by knockout. Any long shots you want to throw out there before we keep moving?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to throw one long shot out there. Carla Esparza, round 3, 4, or 5 sub is plus 2,200 as far as I know on FanDuel right now. And I got that at plus 2,900, which is even better, obviously, but I still think that's pretty good. I personally think Rose wins, but for a sprinkle at plus 2,200, I feel like it's hard not to take it.
Hey, we're here for the long shot sprinkles, so I don't hate that myself as a Carla backer myself. So I don't hate that whatsoever. So we got Fiallo by knockout and a small sprinkle long shot on Esparza 3, 4, or 5 submission. Appreciate you joining us, Mike. Best of luck tonight, and let's get some winners.
Have a good one.
See you, bro. All right, moving right along. I was surprised. Fiallo by knockout. I honestly thought that might be a little bit more juiced. Moving right along to fellow Sixers fan. I know you're feeling good getting that first win off the board for the Sixers, kind of like we're about to get that first win on the Roundtable parlay. And I know you've been heating up a little bit here, coming off a nice plus 110. Mazzani doesn't go the distance last week. So what you got for us, Lou?
First of all, I just want to reiterate, Adebayo is a scumbag for his rebound total last night. I want to echo something that Saeed said before I get my pick. Randy Brown decision is plus 320 on FanDuel. I think that's his win condition. Williams has got pretty good durability. That's grossly mispriced to me as far as I'm concerned. I think Brown vet savvies and 320 is very reasonable. But I'm going to go to, much like Billy Briz, I'm going to go to the old guys, just I'm going to go to different old guys. Cerrone Lozon fight to not start round 3 is minus 116 on FanDuel. You know, I don't know what you can say about the durability of these guys. Lozon is round 1 KO or buff at this point. Cerrone's been finished a ton in round 1. If this goes to the second round, I don't see how Cerrone doesn't just take him down. He could submit him in the second. So to me, it's crazy. I mean, I don't think they're getting paid by the hour here. They don't want to be out there and get a decision. I think Lozon round 1 is good value. I saw plus 950 for the KO, but safer side here is just does not start round 3, minus 116. Very reasonable price for that.
That's what I was going to ask, what the number was, minus 116. Yeah, I don't hate that. Like you, I think Lozon is pretty live early in the fight just because Cerrone has been swarmed and knocked out a bunch of times, and that's typically how Joe Lozon fights. But outside of that, I do think Cerrone probably takes over. I don't know if he takes over enough to get a finish, but it's certainly live. So minus 116, nearly a pick on price. Fight doesn't start round 3. I don't hate it. Any long shots you want to give out before we keep moving?
Well, not for UFC, but the 6'10" horse is on the Derby today.
Yes, let's hear it.
Rolling with Messier is the winner. Liked him before the post was drawn. I love that he's in the 6. And I got in the top 3. I like Crown Pride at the 7. Japanese horses have not traditionally done well here, but this is a horse that improves every race it's been in. Some of these horses have problems traveling to America. They don't acclimate well, but they've run this horse a couple of times. He's looked great. So the 6, 7, 10 trifecta. But Messier, if you're just going to play one horse, Messier's still 9, 10 to 1 in some spots. It's Derby day. It's gambling on top of gambling on fights. Like, have a little fun with it.
Absolutely.
And go Sixers.
Go Sixers. I mean, love to hear it. And I think I have I think FanDuel's doing a promo. I have like a risk-free bet on the Derby, so I'll bet your boy there, and hopefully he can.
Named after Mark Messier, so it is, can't go wrong, I guess, if you're. Well, I don't know. I'm not a Rangers fan, so I guess you can't go wrong if you were.
There you go, bro. I appreciate you joining us, Lou. Best of luck tonight on the card.
Good luck, man.
All right, moving right along to a friend of mine who is also making his debut on the stream. We got my guy Narco Cop. What's going on, bro?
What's up, John? How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Doing good, doing good. Yeah, appreciate you joining us. I know you were hitting me up. You're like, I got the lock of all locks for winners for the show this weekend. I got to give it out. So what you got for us, bro?
So I'm going to go a little different than everybody else. I like Journey Newsom here, man. I'm familiar with Fernie Garcia from the Dana White's Contender Series. As you know, I love that show. I tape this guy extensively, has a boxing background, but the guy's very, very hittable. He's very bad defensively. Over all his regional fights, this guy just constantly gets tagged with the right hand. And Journey Newsom is a solid boxer, has pretty good power, is the better grappler here. He's a BJJ black belt. Honestly, Journey Newsom is better everywhere here. The other aspect is, Fernie Garcia coming into his first UFC fight in front of a big crowd, UFC 274. Journey Newsom has already been in the UFC. He has already a couple of fights under his belt. He's, I believe, been in front of a crowd. So there's a lot of things going for Journey Newsom. And to be honest, he's just a better fighter overall. Fernie Garcia wins based on attrition and cardio. And he's not going to do that here because I just think, Journey Newsom is just going to tag him over and over. And honestly, the KO is very live here with Journey Newsom at plus 600. So yeah, my play is Journey Newsom plus 125, plus 120, whatever you can get. I think he's this clear side here. I think he should be a favorite in this spot.
Yeah, so it looks like the best available is points bet at plus 150. I know a lot of people don't have access to that. Other than that, DraftKings has a plus 120, Bet 365 has a plus 125. So there's certainly still some plus money out there you can get. And I'm with you, bro. Like, for those that don't know, most people know I do a lot of Dana White Contender Series stuff. And if you didn't know, Narco does a bunch of Dana White Contender Series stuff as well. And we basically came away with the same things from taping Fernie Garcia here. Like, I don't rate him highly whatsoever. I'm still, and I talked about this with Dan Levy. I was on Half the Battle this week, and I talked about it on that show. Is like everything lines up for me to fade Fernie Garcia, except I don't know if I want to do it with Journey Newsom. But on the flip side, it's like, if you don't do it now, we might not get an opportunity like this one. So I'm still kind of wrestling with the idea. I may join you on Journey Newsom just because I agree with most of what you said. I do have some concerns, like maybe Fernie can lean on the wrestling. Maybe Fernie will pressure him a little bit. Newsom's not like super high volume. But aside from that, I mean, I really think there's a good argument for Newsom to be the small favorite in this matchup. So no arguments from me, man. Like I said, I may be joining you on Newsom money line. Any long shot, because I know you're a long shot guy. Any like long shot or Lambo play, as you would say, that you want to throw out?
I actually have one. If you have Bet MGM and it's a straight like submission, you actually have to call the submission. It's Royval by Triangle. It's plus 2,600 or 2,500 on Bet MGM. He's got a bunch of triangles in his wins, and I think if Schnell decides to grapple here, and I think he might at some point because Royval brings that pace and gets hectic at point. And even last fight, like he almost had the triangle. Like this guy throws it up like crazy, and it's very, very, very live if this fight hits the ground and he's on bottom. So the triangle's plus 2,600, and I took a shot there. I also like Royval late round props, to be honest. Plus 1,000, I think, round 3. And the reasoning is Schnell moving down to 125 is a big key for me here. Like if this was obviously 135, I would feel a little different. But I think this weight cut really takes away from Schnell's 1 chin, 2 cardio. So, yeah, I like Royval. I mean, the pace is crazy that he brings. So how could you not like a Royval round 3 almost against anybody? But especially against a 125 Schnell.
Yeah, I mean, I like Brandon Royval. I'm always rooting for Royval. I feel like he gets a lot of shit from people just because he's not a good minute winner. He's just like a kill or be killed style fighter. But personally, I like what he brings to the table. I don't hate sprinkling some finish related or late props like you said for Brandon on the Brandon Royval side. So I got you down as your best bet, Newson money line plus 120, and the sprinkle on the Royval by triangle at 25-1. Absolutely love to see it. Appreciate you joining us, Narco. Best of luck on the card tonight, bro.
All right, same to you. Take care.
Thanks. All right, moving right along. We're going back to my guy Dylan, who I gotta ask, bro. I don't want to embarrass you. Do you live in your car?
Dude, I have the same schedule on Saturdays. I'm always in the gym around noon.
I knew it was your gym schedule, but I'm like, he's joined in his car every single time. I got to say something about it, but I know you're just finishing
keep the
up at the
routine
gym.
Going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. You're making me feel bad about myself. You know, you guys, you and Andrew, you're hitting the gym hard. I'm over here just destroying my liver with some mimosas. So I appreciate you joining, though. What you got as your best bet of the card?
No high noons this morning?
No high noons. Yeah, I had to switch it up. You know, I'm trying to I had to change something. We're yet to cash one of these roundtable parlays. I figured we had to bring classiness with us today, act like we've been there before. And I went with the bottomless mimosas for the boys.
I like the call. It's a good switch up. So I got Randy Brown on BetMGM plus 320 for decision. I just don't see how he's the underdog in this fight. I think he's the far better striker. I mean, he can obviously get knocked out. Chaos Williams has power. I just think I think it's going to be like a technical fight on both sides. Chaos is going to try to knock him out. Obviously, Randy's going to kind of stick and pop, win rounds. So I like the decision plus 320 on BetMGM. And I got a little long shot for the night. Fortis MMA has a big night, 3-0 sweep. Fernie Garcia,
Chasson. Who's the third?
Matt Schnell.
Oh, I didn't even realize. Yeah. So, okay. All right. I mean, that's ballsy. I don't know about that one. I mean, Pepe's on Massey Chasson, so there's one for you. Fernie Garcia, I have a feeling not many people are going to be on him tonight, but I don't know. That's one, like I said, I was talking through it with Narco. That's one that I'm considering betting the other side, Newson. And then Matt Schnell, you could make a case for Matt Schnell against Brandon Royval. I think Royval probably wins, but I think it'll be a good fight.
Yeah, I agree. I just Royval likes to get himself into trouble sometimes. So
yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Schnell's not a terrible grappler. I mean, he has 8 submission victories. He's not bad. I could see Royval getting caught. So that's why I like it. I don't know. I like the little sweep tonight as a long shot play.
I mean, I always respect the ballsy calls. You know, I don't like it when people come on here and give these massive juiced ones just to pump up their record. So I appreciate you coming in with the fire. And I want to ask before I let you go, I have you down Randy Brown by decision. Are you on his money line as well? Because that was one that was already mentioned. So if you're a second, you know, that could be making a case for the roundtable parlay. So that's why I wanted to ask if you're on the money line as well.
Yep, I am. I already got bets on that, but I like the decision prop too because you're getting plus 300 money.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, I got them both down. Randy Brown money line, FanDuel minus 102, and then Randy Brown by decision plus 320 at BetMGM.
And then if you do money line at BetMGM too, he's still plus 105, so you can get plus money there too.
There you go. Love to see it. I appreciate you joining, Dylan. Hopefully you had a good workout. Drive safely, and best of luck on the card, bro.
Yes, sir. Best of luck.
Thanks. All right, moving right along. So that's actually quick recap because we've had a couple repeats, which is good because that ups the confidence as always. For those that don't know, at the end, we're going to do a roundtable parlay, basically gather all the info we had from all of our guests and whichever ones were mentioned multiple times, obviously confidence increase for those. Those could be anchors in the parlay. And then we just kind of talk through it at the end. And anybody, especially all of these guests, I want to switch it up. Like Pepe stayed late, joined last week, helped me cook up the parlay. I like that idea. I want more people to do that if possible. So if you came on the show earlier and you want to come back at the end and cook up a parlay with us, much appreciated. As many as possible to get in the lab and get it done for us. It is much appreciated. So we're going to keep it moving. We got my guy, Evan. You took the shades off, bro. I was digging them.
I'll put them back on. I'm feeding my daughter right now. I'm just trying to entertain her.
Oh, nice. I know how that goes.
Stella, say hi.
Hello. Hi. My wife's got my daughter upstairs. I'm like, please try to keep her quiet while I'm on stream.
Yeah. All right, man. Look,
bro?
I got a winner today. I got two bets. I'm going to give my official best bet, and I want to give another bet. So my official best bet, I think you're also on it, is the Gaethje Oliveira under 2.5.
Yes.
I can't stop betting it. Danny Lags tweeted it out like when it dropped on FanDuel, it was like minus 133 or something.
Absurd line.
Slammed that. And then as of last night, it was minus 130 on DraftKings. I can't stop betting it, John Kelly. It's currently minus 140 on DraftKings. That's the best. Well, at least on the domestic books, that's the best I've seen. Minus 166 on FanDuel. So minus 140 DraftKings. Please bet that if you have not bet it already. I think this should be like minus 225. Like, I don't see how these two individuals stay inside of a cage for over 12 and a half minutes without Gaethje either getting choked unconscious or, preferably, because I'm also on the Gaethje money line, Oliveira just melting on the feet to Gaethje's power and aggression. So I think it's a great line. I actually love the way you put it on your podcast. Great show, by the way, when you broke down all the bets. You said each other's strengths play into the weaknesses of the other. And it's like under 2.5 at minus 140 to me is crazy here. I think it's the best line on the card. I also really love the Cowboy decision only line. I didn't want to come on here for another best bet, no scorecards type play, like something I could push like I did last week, which, by the way, I still think there's value on that Cheeto.
I mean, my God, how close did we get to cashing that? My God.
I know. So Cowboy Cerrone decision only on DraftKings is minus 130. I can't see Joe Lozon winning a decision. So I think that's a great spot too. But officially, my best bet is the under 2.5 in the main event.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know, like, we're completely basically in unison this week because I bet the under 2.5 at a slightly worse number. I bet at minus 152 on FanDuel. I'm pretty sure Jonah moved the line right before I bet it. So shout out to Jonah. But I also bet Justin Gaethje money line at plus 152. So I played it the same as you, Gaethje money line and then the under for all the reasons that you said. And then Cerrone decision only. I like that too. My official prediction was like a sloppy almost finish on both sides with Cerrone getting his hand raised. So it sounds like we're sipping the same tea this week, bro. Hopefully that under 2.5 doesn't make us and the rest of the world apparently broke.
I know.
Tomorrow.
Let's hope so. I'd be shocked. For the record, if we're trying to talk roundtable parlays, I'm also on Randy Brown money line.
Ooh, that's the third one.
Just to throw a little support behind some of those guys that threw that out there.
Yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that. Okay, I'm going to mark that down too, just for added support. But I appreciate it, Evan. Best of luck to you, and I hope your daughter enjoys her lunch there.
All right, man. Good luck tonight.
Later, bro. All right, so for those that are just tuning in, that's the third person that has mentioned Randy Brown money line. I personally did not bet Randy Brown. I think that fight's pretty competitive, but confidence increase. That's the third person. I feel like at this point, it's almost a lock that we got to use it for the roundtable parlay. Like there's no argument that anyone can make. We're going to keep it moving to actually, it looks like our next two guests are running behind. So we're going to jump ahead because we got a few people waiting in the queue. We got my guy. He's off work early. Tim Troiano joining us. I appreciate you, bro. What's going on today?
What's up, John? It's great to be here. So, I got a couple. I'm going to jump on the under 2.5 as well. I mean, that's obviously the best play for the card. So I don't think that there's a better play. We're all going to be homeless if that goes over, right? So we'll all be at the same place. I do have a money line that I like, and then I have a Lambo that I like. I'll take those shots on the under 2.5 because taking that shot on the best bet. So I like loopy money line. today. I don't mind it. I think that she's got Carnelossi covered pretty much on the wrestling. I don't like Carnelossi's takedown defense. And then I like the even off by submission, and I definitely like the even off by submission in rounds 2 or 3 as Lambo plays, or even if you want to don't get greasy on round 2 or round 3. But like the round 2 is plus 850, round 3. I think that he hasn't had a finish in the UFC yet, but I think this is a perfect setup for him to get a finish. I think that De Lima has shown that he quits in fights multiple times, and I think that this is going to be a perfect spot for him to run his neck into a guillotine or just kind of give up in the 2nd or 3rd round if he doesn't get the finish early.
I love it, man. And your audio was cutting out just in the middle there. It picked up at the end. I want to make sure I got everything correctly there. I have Gaethje, Oliveira under 2.5 that you mentioned briefly. Then Lupi Godinez money line. And then the Ivanov by sub in 2 or 3. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, you froze on me.
Yeah. Am I good?
I think you said yes. So I got those written down.
Yeah.
Okay, you're coming back. I'm losing you a little bit, bro. I'm gonna have to keep it moving because I can't hear you. But I think you confirmed that those were your bets. So I got them written down for you. Appreciate you, Tim. Hopefully you can join us again next week. I appreciate it, bro. Good luck tonight on the card.
Thanks, John. You too.
All right, we're going to keep things moving right along. Apologies. It's very windy here, and the wind just blew something over, made a noise, and my dog is he has anxiety, so he gets freaked out. So that's why he's going nuts next to me right now. All right, so we're going to keep it moving to our next guest, which is my guy. We're actually running behind. So I told you guys we had a packed guest list this week. So we're going to go to my guy, Danny Lags, joining us from the beautiful Sunshine State of Florida. What's up, bro?
What's up? First, can you hear me well with the mic?
Yeah, you're coming through clear.
Good to go. Okay. So last time I came on the show, I said we should anchor the parlay, the roundtable parlay with the Barry out under 2.5 rounds. That came through. And for this week, I know Tim touched on it. The under 2.5 rounds main event. I think that's our anchor for this week for sure.
Oh yes, love it.
Yep.
So Gaethje, Oliveira under 2.5. I saw you're on that. Is that your biggest bet of the year?
Yes. So it's 5 units minus 134 under 2.5 rounds. And I was looking this morning. I was tempted to add another unit and a half. They have on DraftKings, the fight doesn't start round 3 is minus 105.
I mean, are we missing something with these lines? Like, I would be.
I would say the only thing that's giving me like a little bit of pause, I would say would be if Gaethje does drop Oliveira and then he's like a little reluctant to fall him to the ground, maybe. But then I think even in that sense, Oliveira's probably going to look to stand. Like he's going to stand up and then probably
or Gaethje will make him stand up. Like I feel like Gaethje is smarter than Chandler. Like, Chandler dropped him and then immediately just chased the finish. Like, I feel like Gaethje is pretty smart, like to be able to, and even in interviews and stuff, he sort of hinted at it. Like, I'm going to be very methodical in how I go for the finish. Like he sort of like kind of, if you read between the lines. So I don't know. I mean, it's a fight. Obviously anything can happen, but I would be absolutely shocked if this fight goes over 2.5.
I would say what's like really interesting too, and I mentioned it on our podcast too. I think Gaethje has like the worst IQ of the guys recently that's fought Oliveira, like in the grappling perspective. Like I think that obviously one back take, one takedown. I think the fight's over. To be honest with you, like obviously, I mean, on the feet, power, both guys can knock each other out. I think it's a slam dunk personally. So love that.
100%. Absolutely love it.
I don't know if anybody else has mentioned her, but obviously the Cookie Monster, Carlos Barza, I'm on her, unit and a half, plus 165. And I have a quarter unit on her by sub at 16-1. I think 16-1 or 15-1. Let me check that again.
It was 18 actually on FanDuel at one point. So you said, what is it now? 15?
So I got 15-1. I think it's down to like 12-1. But yeah, what you mentioned too, I think it went up to 18-1 at one point.
Yeah, it was on FanDuel because I saw it there. Okay, so I got you down under 2.5. Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje main event, and Esparza money line, and then also small sprinkle on the submission prop, a big number. Appreciate you joining. Best of luck. It sounds like we're all Yeah.
Last
Go
thing,
ahead.
I'll give out the insurance parlay too from people. I tweeted out already, but I'll give it out again. I guess.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
So we got Loopy money line minus 174. The under 2.5 rounds in Cerrone Lows on minus 174. The under 2.5 in Shogun OSP minus 172, and then the under 2.5 in the main event minus 164. So that is plus 531.
I mean, that sounds relatively safe, I would think.
Yeah.
And you've been crushing those insurance parlays. So if you guys want to see that and tail him, follow him on Twitter at Danny_Lags. Appreciate you joining, bro. Enjoy the sun out in Florida.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. All right. We're going to hop around a little bit, reshuffle the deck, just because it seems like he's probably got more important things to do today because my man is looking spiffy in the suit. So I had to get him in here. What's going on, John?
What is going on, John Kelly? How are you? Yeah, I'm about to go to a baptism, but I'm also dressed to make some money tonight, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. I mean, I was getting big Wolf of Wall Street vibes from the suit. Let's hear what you can sell us today. Sell me this pen.
Yeah, I'm going to sell you that pen. I got to tell you this. First of all, I've really let the people down the last couple of weeks on here, but this time we're going to get it all back and then some here. That's what I'm telling you. I have my biggest bet of the year here on Carla Esparza. I have 5 units on her on the money line at plus 75, and I have another 2 units on her inside the distance at plus 700 here. Yeah, I mean, pretty much, I guess for me, I kind of line Carla minus 200. You know, I think there's a narrative. Like, Rose is obviously the better fighter than what she was 8 years ago, but I actually don't think she's made almost any grappling improvements at all. Like, I actually watched her fights with Esparza from 2014 and Zhang pretty much back to back just to kind of see, and pretty much all the same bad tendencies, both in terms of how she gets taken down, how weak her hips are, and then how she reacts on the ground are almost identical. You know, she doesn't really have a technical get-up game. She tends to try to just knee slide and look for an armbar. And when you watch Carla in the past, you know, she can look underwhelming on top when women decide to like hold guard, like Marina Rodriguez did against her, just kind of consolidate guard there. She's happy to hang out in there. But when you try to attack her with submissions, she tends to pass fairly easily, and she actually throws a lot of ground and pound. Look, obviously she could get KO'd here, but how much stock can I put into KO at 115? Like, I know Rose has 2, but one was Joanna off a bad weight cut and another was a head kick. Like, I suppose that could happen, but I can't put it at a high clip. And I just think minute to minute, Carla's going to dominate this fight. Like, I think she's going to attempt 10 to 15 takedowns here. Rose defends takedowns at 50%. Carla's probably the second best female wrestler ever. She's going to get them. I think she's going to get a lot of control time. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for her to beat Rose up and finish her here. So I honestly think this line is just, we have someone who's been perpetually undervalued her entire career. You know, she was an underdog to Yan Zanan last fight, and we saw how that went, against someone who's the current champion and who has been fighting, you know, a lot of elite fighters, but actually hasn't faced a real wrestler since she fought Carla. And the only grappling samples we have since then, really, she got stuck and beat up on bottom by Karolina Kovacevic. She got taken down twice by Andrade, but Andrade, she went for the armbar, and Andrade just kind of bailed out when she went for it. And then other than that, we saw, you know, Weili Zhang, who is not a very good wrestler, get her down 5 times. We saw her get mounted in that fight. Yeah. I just cannot look at this. Like, there is no way, if you didn't know that anything about the 2 fighters' backgrounds coming in and you taped it, no one would be saying Rose Namajunas should be a favorite here. But she is the champion, and we do know that. So, yeah, I just think it's crazy. So I'm all over Carla here.
So that was one hell of a sell job. And as a fellow Carla backer myself, I am definitely in on the sell job. And I mean, guys, are you really going to fade the guy? He's looking like $1 million. He came on you to sell you his biggest bet of 2022. I mean, what more do you want right here? And for what it's worth, you are like the 4th person to mention Carla Esparza money line. So like, that's got to be an anchor for the parlay as well.
Definitely. And I'm going to be watching it with Gambas. We both have max bets on it. So,
dude, I don't know what it is. The last, I think, 3 times you've been on the show, you and Andrew every single time have been like the same exact, like verbatim. So you absolutely love to see it. Appreciate you joining us, John, and best of luck on the card, and enjoy the baptism.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy, John. I appreciate it.
Later, man. All right, we are going to jump over to my guy, JJ Frick. What is going on?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing good, but not as good as you because you won the Twitter giveaway DraftKings ticket to the main tournament on DraftKings with $200,000 to first place. So appreciate you joining that promo code John Kelly DFS Twitter giveaway. For those that don't know, I'm going to plug it right now. Thrive Fantasy, honest to God, and I obviously I'm getting a kickback from the site, so I'm going to promote it. But even if I wasn't, I was promoting Underdog and other sites before I ever got kickbacks from them. Even if I didn't have a kickback from Thrive, I would tell you that this is one of the best ways to get your money in good this weekend, because right now there was literally, last time I checked, this contest that they're running at Thrive Fantasy, which is a UFC contest, $20,000 prize pool, $5,000 guaranteed to first place. It pays out it pays out 208 entrants. And last time I checked, there was 170 something people entered. So
literally free money.
You just have to click a button and you make $10, I think is the minimum. Because
main cash is 30, I think. It's $25 to enter, and the concept's really cool. Actually, I was surprised when I downloaded it when you put it up on your Twitter. Prop betting for DFS is a really cool concept. So I thought that was really unique.
That was what I thought as well. It's basically a pick 'em, but it has that peer-to-peer aspect, which I think is very interesting because I think there's more of an edge when you go peer-to-peer because a lot of people are just kind of clicking buttons and don't know what they're doing. But regardless, if you think about it, you're literally free rolling for a $5. If you come in dead last, you're free rolling for $5, but then you have the upside of actually banking it for 5,000. So
on top of that, you have match deposit.
Yeah, and you have a match deposit and using promo code John Kelly DFS, and the link is on my Twitter as well. You get 4 free tickets into the contest on a $100 deposit. If you don't want to deposit that much, $10 deposit. You get 2 free tickets into the contest. So you're getting a match credit from the site, free tickets to the contest from the site, and then the contest itself has a shit ton of overlay. I'm not kidding here, guys. That's why I'm pounding the table, and that's why I mentioned it a couple times on Twitter, because it literally is one of the best ways to make money this weekend, in my opinion. But had to get that plug in there. Once I saw you, it came back to me because you won one of the contests that I was running. But what's going on, bro? What is your best bet for the card tonight?
So I'm actually against all MMA Twitter and everybody that's come on the show. I think Rose Namajunas should be a minus 2,000 favorite. I think, I think on the feet
2,000, bro. Let's hear it.
I don't know if you watched the Kayla Harrison fight last night, but she was a minus 5,000 and did not look like minus 5,000. I was rough. But on the feet, Rose Namajunas, I think, is going to piece Carla up. I think Carla is going to get her takedowns, but I think those takedowns are going to come within the first 2 rounds of the fight. And I think it's going to be the last 3 rounds that Rose is going to take over. So on DraftKings right now, Rose by unanimous decision is plus 175, but by split or majority, it's plus 700. I think there's a ton of value on getting what's probably going to come down to a decision, and a greasy split decision in the UFC. I think pretty good chance that comes down to a split, getting plus 700. I think there's a lot of value on that.
I wouldn't be shocked at a split decision. I'm betting Carla, but I also am not as confident as John and Andrew saying she should be the favorite here. I think Carla being a small underdog is right. That's my opinion. But I get the Rose argument. I do think she's going to have a clear striking advantage. I think if Carla gets stuck on the feet for extended periods, she could be in danger there. But I just keep going back to the wrestling. I do think the takedowns are going to be there for Carla. And that's my concern with betting Rose at a juiced price tag. So that's why I'm I'd prefer to take the dog shot on Carla because I'm getting the one with the wrestling upside at almost plus 200. So it's we're not betting fighters, we're betting numbers. If Rose was a pick 'em, yeah, sure, I'd have interest on Rose. But the reality is we're just not getting that. So I'm definitely more so on the Carla side, but I respect the conviction, man. And I do think Rose is probably going to be the one to have bigger moments here. And that's why I see it being a relatively competitive fight, whichever way it lands. So I got you down as Rose money line as your best bet. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Then the other thing that I think is kind of weird is the Ferguson line. I feel is really, really wide. I think if we kind of ignored the last 2 fights, which fighter recency bias comes into a lot, play with the lines. Oh, the other thing on the Rose bet, if you most sportsbook and most places that you look or talk to people at, Rose is the highest owned fighter on all the parlays like going around this week. So she is getting bet a lot, and the fact that her line's not moving shows me that like the public is betting her a lot, which I always kind of want to fade the public. Same thing with people betting NFL games. But anyways, Ferguson. I think if we kind of overlook like Tony Ferguson's history, and if Michael Chandler doesn't come in there in the first round and knock him out, and this thing goes to decision, Ferguson like split decision. If you look at the damage that's going to be mounted up, Chandler probably hits harder and wrestles better, but like those elbows by Ferguson are going to leave a bunch of damage on the face and even cut up at the end of the fight. And if the judges are looking at that more than anything else, I mean, you can never really trust UFC judges. So I kind of like Ferguson by decision. I think there's a lot of value on Ferguson by decision. Plus 550, it's getting bet down right now on DraftKings. So I think you're still getting a pretty good line on that.
So I'm not going to bet Tony Ferguson, but I totally get the angle. Like I am going to have some Ferguson shares on DraftKings, A, because he's so cheap, but B, because if Chandler doesn't get him out of there in the first round, like I feel like it could get kind of dicey. Like I do think Chandler wins, but at this price, like I'll take the underdog shot in terms of DraftKings. So I don't hate it. I got you down as Rose money line as your best bet. A long shot on Tony Ferguson by decision. Appreciate you joining, Josh. And like I said earlier, like, if you want to stick around and join at the end to help cook up the parlay, open invite for sure, bro.
Cool. Thanks, John. Appreciate you, brother.
Later, man. All right. Moving right along to our last guest. I apologize. We were running behind today, Liam. Like we had so many people trying to get on here. So I apologize. We're a little behind the time slot that I gave you, but appreciate you joining us for a couple minutes. And what is your best bet of the card?
No worries, John. I don't know if you put me on blast last week, but I was supposed to show up and overslept the occasion. So
I actually didn't
call it even from here, my brother.
I actually didn't, but I should have because I usually do, and I didn't come to me. So yeah, for those that don't know, he completely big timed me last week. So now that you brought it up, I will say it. He big timed me last week. Slept through the show. But what's going on, man?
What is? Feel better. My Tyra lineups were all locked on DK when I woke up as well. So woke up to a no-win situation in that regard, but still had a good night from a betting perspective. So hoping to keep the ball rolling with you this week, my man. In terms of my best bet this week, you know, I'm not going to break new ground here, but I am going to get the ball back onto the Carla Esparza side of things here. And Carla Esparza is one of my bigger plays, lifetime betting. And the reason being is because I look at Carla Esparza and I say to myself, how can she win this fight? I think she brings like a really terrible stylistic matchup to somebody like Rose Namajunas. Number one, Rose likes to kick. You know, we've seen when is she at her best? When she's throwing kicks proactively. I don't think she's going to be able to do that cleanly in this fight. You saw the first time they fought, that was what compromised her early. She was getting taken down on a lot of her kicking attempts. Then moreover, if she takes a boxing-based approach to this fight, she doesn't tend to be a volume, touch you for 5 rounds and move around. She likes to throw with heat. She likes to throw conviction. She likes to set down on her punches. And if you set down on your punches, you have heavy hips that somebody can reach down, grab a hold of, and try and elevate and slam you. So I think that Carla's going to have opportunities to get on top here in the wrestling. I think that, you know, people are treating it like a foregone conclusion, in my opinion, that this fight goes to decision. I don't understand that. Both these ladies are finishers. You know, Carla Esparza has never gone 5 rounds. She's been scheduled for 5 rounds, never seen the 5-round distance. At least not in her UFC tenure. So I think that is something that is important to consider here. There's definitely some viability to unders here. There's definitely some viability to fights not going the decision. And to be honest with you, I love Carla to finish this fight. You know, if she's able to get on top, if she's able to work her guard passing like she was able to in her last fight effortlessly, I think she's shown improvements. She's talked about her desire to get more finishes and to become a more dominant finishing fighter. We have evidence that she can finish somebody like Rose Namajunas on the ground. She beat her up with ground and pound last time. She forced her to give the neck. So I'm on Carla by sub. I'm on Carla inside the distance, and I'm on Carla money line here. And I really like her as an underdog for DraftKings purposes as well. One of the cheaper priced underdogs on the slate. I think that she has a higher floor. Let's say this goes to a wrestling-based decision and she loses. You know, still she's going to score some points for you in the wrestling department where some other underdogs might not get there in a loss. I think Carla could potentially get there in a loss for you and score over her projected. So I think that there's a lot to like about the Carla Esparza side this weekend.
So you are literally like the 5th person to come on here and pitch Carla, including myself. So, I mean, if the confidence doesn't increase from there, John came on, said it's his biggest bet of 2022, looking like a dime piece in that suit, by the way. So, I mean, if he didn't sell you by himself, but then you have Andrew Gomez getting a pump in at the gym, he tells you he's big on Carla Esparza money line. We got multiple other people on Carla Esparza money line. So, I mean, that's got to be a big anchor for the parlay. Appreciate you coming on, Liam. And like I've told the last few guys, if you want to stick around and help cook up the parlay, if you have time, it's totally up to you. But feel free, because that's the portion of the show that we're going to be moving along to here.
I love it. I got you, man. Absolutely. Why not?
Awesome. So it looks like we got a few people. So we're going to re-add so actually I will say Lock of the Night, most of you guys know Lock of the Night at MMA LOTN. He does his live stream at 1. So when we finish up here, go show him some support. He was supposed to come on. He messaged me, but he let me know his best bet was also the under 2.5 in the main event in Gaethje Oliveira, which is another mainstay of this podcast. So those are two, like, right off the bat, as we add some other people. And if you guys were on the show earlier and you want to come back on and cook up the parlay, feel free to jump back on in the link and I'll add you. But guys, basically we're at crossroads here, because we've done this show probably, I don't know, 6 different weeks, something like that, 5 or 6 different weeks. And we have yet to cash one of these roundtable parlays. It hasn't been because we don't know what we're doing, because almost every single one of these parlays is missing by 1 leg and is the most tilting thing in the world, because I just want to get on Twitter and brag about how this 10-1, 20-1 parlay just smacked, and I can't do it because it keeps losing by 1 leg. So I need your help. Priority number 1 is to get on the board this week. So I feel like we have a lot to go off of this week. We had a big list of guests. I feel like almost everybody agrees Carla Esparza money line probably has to be on it, except Josh, who bet Rose, which there is an argument that could cancel out. In the past, if like one person bets one side and we have a few people bet the other, it could cancel out. The problem is we've had so much Carla love that I don't think one bet from Josh is going to cancel it out, just because there was literally like 5 people that bet Carla, and not just better, but like we had 2 people say it was their biggest bet like ever. So I feel like she's still got to stay in there. What do you guys think?
Yeah, agreed. I actually have.
I like cookies.
So hear me out, John. Here's the roundtable parlay that I got for hearing everybody. So Carla Esparza, the under 2.5 rounds in the main event.
Yep, those 2 are like locks.
And then the third leg, Randy Brown by decision, plus 320. So that pays us plus 1811.
So I would argue, and I'm not a Randy Brown guy, but because multiple people mention his money line, I just want to play it a little bit safer and go money line. But those 3 are definitely like, because I mean, 4 or 5 people said Carla Esparza money line. 4 or 5 people said under 2.5 in Gaethje Oliveira. And then I think 2 or 3 people said Randy Brown money line. Was there anything else that you guys think should be, or you can make an argument that should be added in the parlay?
I'm personally a little spooked about the Randy Brown side, because
me too.
From a technical analysis side, he's clearly the side, and everyone and their mother is on Randy Brown. However, the line is not moving. They're keeping Chaos as the favorite, and it's just kind of spooking me out. I don't love betting on guys who are at a durability disadvantage, but I definitely see where people are coming from with the Randy Brown side. I don't know. Something about it is kind of spooking me. Liam, what are you seeing? Because he's a Northeast guy.
Yeah, man. I actually really like Randy Brown. Like, by and large, I just think he's a cool guy. I think he's like fun to watch. He's got a fun style, goes out there and puts it on the line. But yeah, I'm not wagering my money on him against Chaos Williams. I'll tell you the truth. Like, I have just been on the sidelines, like asking all my friends, I've been, lucky enough to deal with all these sharp people. So I run it by them sometimes before I make these plays. And I'm like, dude, I think I'm going to go heavy on Chaos. Last time he was going to fight. And they're like, dude, I'm just going to tell you the truth, bro. I think this guy's going to be minus 400, whatever, about Baeza. So I'm like, all right, I'll just lay off. And then Chaos nukes him. And I'm like, fuck. So I'm not going to be betting on this fight for or against. You know, I definitely thought about coming in on the Chaos side. I do think he's at a skill disadvantage here. I think Randy, if he's smart, will take it to the ground. But he doesn't always do that. And if he stays on the feet with this guy, he is definitely liable to get chinned. So I'm not betting against Chaos Williams, man. When people take pictures with Chaos Williams, everybody, UFC fighters are like, I think that this guy is a future star, dude. I don't know why. I could be wrong, but I've always liked what I saw from Chaos when everybody else thinks he's a bum, and he keeps winning. So
isn't he training with Whitman now too?
Yeah, he was training with Justin Gaethje. He was training with John Jones. He travels all over the place to get work in. So I know people hate on Murcielago MMA. He's out there with Daquan Townsend and those guys, but I still think that, you know, he's a guy who's going around the country to get the best looks he can.
I mean, you guys are making a pretty strong case here to not include Randy Brown, which kind of goes against the thesis of the show when multiple people mention. But maybe we need to change it up because we haven't cashed one of these yet.
A bunch of people were on Connolly last week too.
I know, and that's what we talked about. That I'm like, I don't feel good about it. You didn't feel good about it. We went with the basis that multiple people mentioned him, and he got smacked. I mean, it wasn't even relatively close. But I'm kind of with Liam. Like, I don't feel strongly about Chaos Williams, but in a close fight, I'm going to favor the guy who I think has more power and much better durability. Like Randy Brown, maybe well-roundedness. He's probably more skilled, but I don't really trust his durability. Like the guy doesn't react well to getting hit, and he's going up against a guy who hits very, very hard. And I've also been like, every time I pick Chaos Williams, I'm wrong. And anytime I pick against him, which I've mostly picked against him, and I'm wrong. So it's like I'm the anti-Chaos Williams whisperer. So if I lean Chaos Williams, well, maybe we add Randy Brown into the parlay,
Yeah, I was there for his fight against Cowboy Oliveira in Jacksonville, and Oliveira was just absolutely chewing his legs up, and Brown ended up catching Cowboy, but Chaos isn't going to fold like that when the fire is coming, so he's not going to win a firefight, and Chaos is going to be chopping those legs. His legs are just so long and lanky. I can't.
Chaos is like a uniquely bad matchup for that reason. That's kind of how I felt. Like, I think Randy is like skill for skill much better, but it's just like Chaos matches up where he can kick the shit out of his legs. And if he hits you one time, you might just wake up, and be like, what the hell happened? Like,
I feel like guys with stick legs are like always a fade. Like outside of like John Jones and like, if you say Max Holloway has stick legs, I don't know if I'd say he has stick legs, but like Phil Rowe, like generally a fade. Randy Brown, generally a fade in my opinion. Sean O'Malley. He's a big favorite. I don't bet Sean O'Malley, but that's a good point. I mean, Cheeto got him. There's a few others.
Danny Legs was, he brought up Lupi Godinez, and that's a money line that I feel real comfortable putting my money behind. Yeah. I already did.
And she wasn't mentioned much on the show. I think you mentioned her. Did somebody else mention her? But I know other people that I talked to are pretty big on Godinez as well. So that could be a case. Like we already have Esparza money line. We have the under 2.5 in the main event. If we can go 4 legs, but if we have like a 3-legger that we feel strongly about because Esparza is such a big underdog, we probably have enough plus money to just keep it at 3. So it's a decision, do we want to make it 4 legs or 3 legs? And is that 3rd leg, is it going to be Randy Brown, who we're kind of back and forth on, or is it going to be Godinez, who we basically all agree probably gets her hand raised?
Why not Brandon Roybal?
I feel like Brandon.
I guess what would be? I guess to issue. I guess what's your what's your ruling on the like how many people are gonna like if they talk about it so much, like are we gonna add it? Like how many people mention Randy? You know what I mean? Like
so I have it written down.
Like I feel like you have to have like a precedent almost. Like if that's what you're doing. I don't know.
Well,
but I don't really care.
The thing is sometimes people mention multiple bets, so it's like, can you count that as one? But Zay did mention Randy Brown money line. Let's see who else did. Dylan mentioned Randy Brown by decision, but I confirmed he was on the money line as well, so that's 2.
I'm on the Randy Brown too, John, just for what it's worth. I didn't talk
Josh
about
is
it
on
show, but
the Randy Brown as well. So that's 3.
Yeah, so I
But
guess depending on what your precedent is for that. But
well,
I mean,
that's the
otherwise,
thing.
then,
That's the thing is like the precedent was usually like multiple people mention them. If there weren't other ones that multiple people mentioned, then we'll just roll with it. But the problem is we haven't cashed one of these yet. So like I'm willing to just throw the rules out the window. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Ambe in the
Yeah.
chat said add Loopy. So that's another
So-
case for Loopy.
so I'm looking at it.
Pepe's
So
on Loopy.
those
Who
three-
else is on Loopy?
So Esparza, the under, and Loopy pays plus 587.
So I feel like if we do go that route, we need one more. Like we're not here to give away these chalk. You know what I'm saying? Like we want it to smack.
How do you guys feel about Journey?
I like Journey Newsom. I don't know if he's parlay material. But
Yeah, that would be a little rich, but I do think I think he's a decent enough money line side. Let's see.
Well, how about this? What do we feel about the Delima Blagoy fight doesn't go the distance, minus 175?
I don't feel great about it.
No.
I just think that there's a chance that turns into a low volume kickboxing match. That's the only thing that would keep me off that. Like I think that's one of Delima's paths, but I also think that, more often than not, like greater than 60%, it ends inside the distance. I'm just not sure if we get line value. I don't know what the line is on that.
A bunch of people mentioned the Cowboy Lozon fight to not go the distance.
Yeah,
if I remember.
I'll look at that too. Yeah, no, you're right. I have that in my insurance parlay.
Narco made a massive bet on that. I know.
Yeah.
Oh, did he really? Because he didn't mention that one. But
I
Lou
think
is
the
on
line-
fight
the
doesn't
line
start round
moved.
3. So if Lou mentioned fight doesn't start round 3, you said Narco's on it, and Lags has it in his insurance parlay. That
So
could
those
be
four-
enough ammo to.
So if we add that to the 3 legs that we already had, it is plus 914.
I like that. What do you guys think?
Fiallo minus 165, I feel is really good as well. Like I feel like that's one of the safer bets on the board.
What was that?
What was
Fiallo
it?
into the distance.
Oh, inside the distance.
Minus 165, I think is like.
I was gonna say, did FanDuel have props up for that fight? Because I know they didn't.
They
for the-
finally
That's
added
what-
them. It's
yeah.
like minus 130 by KO.
Oh, inside the distance is minus
He looks
190.
a little bit smaller than Van Camp. That kind of surprised me. Did anybody else feel the same way?
I saw that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
I feel like Van Camp's just gonna get starched though. Like
Yeah, he's not very
immediately.
good.
Like he's gonna go for like a shitty takedown and just get knocked out.
So if we add Fiallo inside the distance to those, then we have plus 14.
I don't know if I want to do that.
Okay.
Too much juice for
Yeah.
a prop like that.
So Esparza money line, main event under 2.5, Loopy money line, and then Lozon Cerrone fight doesn't go. You said pays what?
That's
9?
914. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm fine with that.
Any
No
arguments
objections here?
Makes sense to me.
I mean, if
Cowboy
we're
went the distance with Nico Price though, that was the only one where I was like,
yeah,
huh? Like that's the only one that doesn't make sense with the rest of the data set. But
that's true. But if we remove that one, I mean, we could play it safe. Remove that one. It pays 585. I usually try to get like plus 600 as a minimum, but we could just play it safe since we haven't cashed one yet.
Look at Lozon's fights though.
Yeah, that's true. Like, when's the last time that dude's been to decision?
If he hasn't won in 2 minutes, he's done.
Yeah. All right, we ride. Let's do it. 4-legger. So, all right, so we got under 2.5 in the main event. We got Esparza money line. We got Lupi Godinez money line, and we got I already forgot it. Cerrone Lozon fight doesn't go the distance. I feel like Carla Esparza, she's borderline cursed at this point because everybody's on her, but we're gonna ride either way. Plus 9
not
something.
the parlay boys, not the parlay boys.
That's true.
Right.
That is very true. So we're gonna ride. I'll build the graphic as always. Tweet out on my Twitter at John Kelly DFS. If you guys want to tail, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Check out the rest of my content on my YouTube at John Kelly DFS. And like I said earlier, if you guys just joined, check out Thrive Fantasy. Tons of overlay over there if you're in a legal state to play, and use my promo code, which is on my Twitter. Appreciate you guys sticking around and helping build the Roundtable parlay. As always, priority number one is to get on the board. So let's do it, boys. Best of luck, and we will see you guys next time.
Just do your jobs.
Just do your job. Simple as that.